Ministry is some combination of inspiration and perspiration. Sometimes we are so encouraged, so aflame with what God has called us to do, it doesn't seem like work. Other times, it seems like nothing but work. Seasons of perspiration. I'm Dr. Rick Durst. I teach theology at Gate Baptist Theological Seminary. And this little conversation is about biblical inspiration and ministry perspiration and the relationship between the two. In the classic Protestant teaching of biblical inspiration, we would say that the words of Scripture are plenarily and verbally inspired. That in the original autographs, God worked through human instruments to get the words that He wanted. So we can trust them as reliable, fully inspired, authoritative for faith and practice. Now, when we look very close at the Scripture to see how God actually got the words He wanted, we see Him sometimes dictating to Moses and others exactly the words He wanted. In other places, there's a lot more freedom. It's almost dynamic how the Spirit encourages and moves, and we get a stronger feel for how Jeremiah goes about the task and Ezekiel goes about the task, so there's a dynamic press in there. In other cases, God seems to be just relying on the natural strengths and talents. The Gospel of Luke says, I wanted to have a chronological listing of the Gospel. And so He goes about it in that fashion. With reference to Solomon, God says, I'm going to give him wisdom, and so God gives a super level of RAM to Solomon's brain, and we get part of the Proverbs. So heightened. Now think about it. I think this way of looking at things impacts how you do ministry. Here is a model that many have used to present on how you work with people in doing ministry. Sometimes you need to delegate to the competent what you want them to do and let them go and do it. In other cases, they need a little more support, so you go along with them. In other cases, as they're doing it, they need coaching in order to get it right. In other places, they need very clear direction because they just don't know what to do. What I want to suggest to you, when you think of your ministry toolbox, think of it in terms of biblical inspiration and make sure you have at least 4 tools in the box and that you bring the right tool to the right task at the right time. Let me know what you think about this. I'm Dr. Rick Durst at Golden Gate Seminary.